Title: The Ticket That Bled Gold, a Lagos tale of luck, lust, and the loud silence of regret. Scene 1. The winning ticket. In a cramped 2-room apartment on mainland Lagos, where cracked walls whispered of hardship and the fan worked only when NEPA felt merciful, there lived a young man named Remi. He was the firstborn of a tailor who stitched other people's dreams into faded ankara. His mother prayed like prayer alone could buy Gori, and his younger brother, Kunal, still believed the world was gentle. Remi did everything: washed cars, sold water in jerrycans in areas that lacked water supply, cleaned shops for people who couldn't even remember his name. But he had one ritual every weekend. He bought a 1,000 naira BetNaijaGroove ticket and prayed to the wind. Just one win, and I go blow, he said. Then one Sunday evening, under the flickering glow of a dying bulb and the smell of kerosene stew, lightning struck. 1.2 billion. A jackpot so wild, it made the radio. A sum so large, it swallowed his past. At first, he froze, then laughed, then wept, then ran straight home. His father dropped his tape measure and stared silently. His mother wept into her wrapper. Kunal held him tight, like he never wanted to let go. They didn't sleep that night, but by morning, the neighborhood buzzed. Relatives reappeared. Street boys waited at the gutter. Old neighbors cheered or warned. Remi saw the storm brewing, so before sunrise, he packed a small bag, left an envelope filled with cash, and scribbled a note. I'll be back for you. I just need to keep us safe. Please don't tell anyone where I'm going. I love you. Then he disappeared. His heart was in the right place, but money is a loud god. Scene 2. Remi Designer is born. A month later, Lagos met a new man, Remi 2.0. Dripped in Fendi, draped in Dior, moving with a convoy and an ego to big for his Bentley. Tall, brown-skinned, dreadlocks tied neatly, wrist iced with a diamond-studded Rolex Daytona, eyes hidden behind dark Fendi shades, and his entrance, louder than a concert. He bought 4 dream machines in one weekend: a golden Mercedes Maybach Excelero, a sleek Porsche Panamera with his initials, RK, etched in chrome, a rare sky blue Rolls-Royce boat tail, and a custom-made purple Bentley Continental GT. He moved to Banana Island, with glass walls, a private pool, and guards who saluted him like royalty. No album, no business, just pure, untouchable money. The clubs played his name like a hook. Influencers begged for selfies. Slay queens rehearsed their demies like audition scripts. He traveled just to feel something. Lagos to Ghana for brunch, Ghana to South Africa for a night out, Mozambique just for a photo shoot. And then came the women. One in Ghana, one in Joburg, one in Tanzania, 2 in Kenya, 3 in Dubai. All with one line: Remi, I'm pregnant. But to wrote themselves into his legend, Kelebu, the Lagos enchantress with eyes like lies and hips like temptation. She called him my king, he called her my future. He gifted her a convertible, a pink-themed apartment, and threw a yacht gender reveal when she claimed she was pregnant. Anna, the Atlanta seductress, his peck pie. She wore Dior swimsuits, smoked Cuban cigars, and spoke in horoscopes. She taught him tarot, tequila, and toxic love. She once whispered in Cape Town, "You're not rich, baby. You're legendary." He believed her. Kelebu is wife material, he told his boys. But Anna, that one no cruise for the soul. He was high on love and louder on lust, blind to the cliff he danced upon. Scene 3. The call he ignored. When his father was kidnapped, Remi hesitated. A trusted friend warned, "If you give in, they'll keep coming till you're dry." Remi nodded and walked away from the call. Instead of sending the ransom, he sent himself to a pool party in Cape Town. Phone face down, music up, perfume thick. By the time he checked his phone, the message was cold. "We found a body." That was how the police broke the news. No ceremony, no warning, just a cold call asking them to come identify what was left of a man who once held their world together. It was him, Remi's father, broken, discarded, and forgotten in an uncompleted building. The family buried him quietly. His mother wore all white, her cries raw and wordless. Connell didn't speak to anyone, not the officers, not the pastor, definitely not Remi. Because Remi didn't show up, he couldn't, not because he was far away, but because he was ashamed. He couldn't face the look on his mother's face. He couldn't handle Connell's silence. Instead, he stayed in Banana Island, poolside, watching palm trees sway while a slow track played over glass speakers. Phone off, guilt buried beneath designer sunglasses and cheap reassurance. He told himself he'd mourn later, but he didn't. Grief never settled in his chest. At least, not for long. Not enough to change him. He numbed it with more parties, more bottles, more women who didn't know his name, and friends who only stayed until the money poured. His father was gone, and instead of slowing down, Remi pressed harder on the gas. Scene 4. Cold luxury. The parties didn't stop, but the alerts did, because there was never any real inflow. Only debit after debit, bottle service, silk sheets, private chefs, endless proof of status. His account was never fed, just drained. A balance built on borrowed time. The private jet stopped answering. The club promoters crowned new gods. The baby mamas sent court papers. And Kelebu, gone, with the pink convertible and the truth. The child was never yours. Anna, posting in Tulum, stretched across Pablo's yacht, captioned, "Soft life or no life." Remi tried to bluff his way back, but the money was never real, and the lifestyle couldn't float without it. Soon, the bank app was red. He sold everything. The mansion, his cars, the designer suits. What didn't sell went to auction. What didn't auction, he gave away. All to quiet the banks, and buy time to perhaps make a comeback. But the silence stayed. No engines hummed. No glass doors slid open. No staff bustled through marble halls. Because there were no more halls. No more stuff. No more luxury. Remi, the boy who once shook not just Lagos but abroad, now drifted between rented rooms and forgotten contacts. A king without a castle. Only the weight of what once was. Debt had taken the crown, and all that remained was silence. Scene 5. The legend they buried alive. He couldn't go home. Not like this. What would he tell his mother? That the mansion he promised was only ever a picture on Instagram. That her answered prayer became a curse with chrome rims. Back in Ijumo village, the silence spoke louder than words. Where Remi's name once stirred pride, it now lingered like a fading shadow, mentioned only in hushed tones and side glances. His absence echoed through the dusty roads and verandas, replaced by the quiet rise of others who stayed behind. In his place, Connell rose. The same Connell who once followed in Remi's shadow, now ran things quietly and correctly. He wore clean shirts, carried himself with calm, and settled disputes before the chief even heard of them. Mothers pointed at him when teaching their sons what dignity looked like. Remi stayed hidden, tucked away in a basic flat in Lekki Phase 1. He lived off memory and regret, eating in silence, watching the lives he once dominated flicker across a screen, like a story he no longer belonged to. Epilogue: the price of a ticket. He was back where it all began, bent over a mop, pushing water across the tiled floor of a small restaurant in Lekki. The scent of bleach clung to him the way cologne once did. Customers barely looked his way, and when they did, there was no recognition. Only the passing glance given to anyone in a uniform. It was as if the years of mansions, Maybachs, and magazine covers had been nothing but a fever dream, as if fate had wound the clock back, erasing every step he thought he'd taken forward. They say he walks the streets now, hoodie up, slippers worn, muttering like a prayer no longer works. Some say he's lost, some say he's finally found humility. But all agree, it all started with 1.2 billion from BetNaijaGroove, and ended with Kelebu, Anna, and everything in between. What will be his fate?